Hello again, this is World News coming to you live from Warsaw, Poland, here on TVP World. I'm Anna Kalczyńska. Good morning. Hungary, as the only member state out of 27, has refused to endorse a joint EU statement in support of arming Ukraine. Budapest's separate political strategy towards Ukraine results in Viktor Orban's Hungary being isolated, said President of the European Council Antonio Costa at the conclusion of the special EU summit on Ukraine.
On Ukraine, we remain with a strong support from 26 out of 27 member states in the common position. In fact, as you know, Hungary is a different strategic approach on Ukraine. But that means that Hungary is isolated among the 27. And we respect Hungary's position, but it's one out of 27. And 26 are more than one.
Speaking to journalists yesterday, following the emergency summit of all 27 EU leaders in Brussels, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said his government would poll Hungarians on their support for Kiev's EU accession, a move which critics have derided as a propaganda tool. According to Orban, US President Trump's appeal for increased defense spending in Europe is, quote, more than right.
Well, the policy of President Trump in that respect is more than right. So we have to spend more. The question is, for what? Well, because now we have various options. The first, we have to spend more money to make stronger our own military capacities and defense capacities. But at the same time, somebody should finance the Ukrainian army, which is a huge amount of money, and the Americans will not part of that in the future. Then we have to finance somehow the state of Ukraine, because otherwise it would collapse. So I think these three things together, three packages together, is just simply too much.
The US State Department is considering the closure of more than 10 American consulates, primarily in Western Europe, according to Reuters. Locations include the cities of Hamburg, Strasbourg and Florence, with consulates in Germany, France, Italy, Portugal and Brazil also potentially affected. Among the consulates under review by Trump's administration are those in Leipzig, Hamburg and Düsseldorf in Germany, as well as Bordeaux, Rennes, Lyon and Strasbourg in France. Florence, Ponta Delgada in Portugal and Belo Horizonte in Brazil are also on the list. Officials emphasized that the list is not final and the closures are still under consideration. This move comes as part of a broader effort to streamline operations within the US Foreign Service, which could also include reducing staff numbers by at least 10% at diplomatic missions. The restructuring initiative is spearheaded by President Donald Trump and overseen by the Department of Government Efficiency, led by tech billionaire Elon Musk. US President Donald Trump said he will not defend European countries if they are delinquent with their NATO defense spending commitments. He also said that despite a rise in defense spending in recent years, the current defense expenditures of other NATO member states are not enough.
I've said that to them. I said, if you're not going to pay, we're not going to defend. I said that 7 years ago. And because of that, they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, if you're not going to pay your bills, we're not going to defend you. And it also went for the attack. But if they got attacked, they said, well, does that mean you won't defend us? I said, are you current or are you delinquent? They said, if we were delinquent, would you? I said, nope, I would not. And because of that, as you know, hundreds of billions of dollars came into NATO. You wouldn't have NATO right now if I weren't there. And your previous Secretary General has said that. He said he's never seen anything like it. When I came to NATO, when I first had my first meeting, I noticed that people weren't paying their bills at all. And I said I should wait till my second meeting, and I did. And I brought that up. And I said, if you don't pay your bills, we're not going to participate, we're not going to protect you. And when I said that, as soon as I said that, it was amazing how the money came in. The money came in, and now they have money. But even now, it's not enough. It's really not enough. They should be paying more.
Russia launched yet another drone and missile attack on Ukraine last night, targeting energy, gas, as well as civilian infrastructure across the country. The number of casualties remains unknown. In their latest attack, Russian forces struck the port city of Odessa, causing at least 3 houses to catch fire. Footage released by the State Emergency Service of Ukraine shows local firefighters dispatched to extinguish one of the burning houses. Critical energy facilities were also damaged in the Russian strike. According to Ukrainian Energy Minister Herman Halushchenko, all necessary measures are being taken to stabilize energy and gas supply. Polish and Allied military aviation assets that were put on alert in the early hours on Friday have already returned to their bases. The planes were scrambled in response to intensified identified activity of Russia's long-range aviation in Ukraine. Russia is carrying out strikes on targets located, among others, in western Ukraine. The Polish Operational Command dispatched on-duty fighter spares to patrol the Polish airspace. Also, ground-based air defense and radar systems have reached the highest state of readiness to ensure security on areas near the Ukrainian border. Former Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov, in an exclusive interview for TVP World, was asked about the current situation on the Eastern Front, which some from Ukrainian High Command call critical. He said that he is more optimistic and believes the current situation is a phase of negotiations in what has become a completely different type of war.
This war, after 3 years, became the new type of war. This is a not conventional war like it was 3 years ago, or Second World War, or Second World War. It's a new type of war because we're fighting using simultaneously Soviet-era weaponry, NATO standard weaponry, and Ukrainian modern weaponry like electronic warfare. Different types of drones on the sea, on the soil, on the ground, and it's absolutely new era of the war in the world. So it means that if we will have lack of the armament, for example, for the artillery systems, we will use FPV drones much easier against the Russian tanks or infantry fighting vehicles. So I see on that not so dramatically, and I hope that is one of the phase of the negotiation.
And the full episode of World News Tonight, including the interview with Mr. Reznikov, is now available on YouTube channel of TVP World. A World War II bomb was discovered on the tracks leading to Paris' Gare du Nord terminal, prompting a major security response. The bomb, which was found earlier this week, led to the evacuation of the area and the suspension of train services. French authorities have launched an operation to safely defuse the ordnance, which was reported and discovered during routine truck inspections. The find has caused significant disruptions to travel, with thousands of commuters affected. Gare du Nord, one of Europe's busiest stations, is a major transportation hub in Paris, with trains arriving and departing to destinations across the continent. The discovery of such a dangerous relic from the past serves as a reminder of the lasting impact of wartime explosives, still being uncovered more than 75 years later. The actions of the United States could be detrimental to the global order, as well as the continued existence of NATO, said Ukrainian ambassador to the United Kingdom and former Ukrainian Army Chief Valery Zaluzhny. He added that Washington's shift toward Moscow is a challenge for the entire European continent.
Today, it is obvious that the White House questioned the unity of the entire Western world. Not only that, we see that Washington is already trying to shift the security of Europe's defense to its own forces without the United States. Such actions probably mean that NATO may cease to exist in the near future. It is also obvious that Washington's non-recognition of the aggression of the Russian Federation, something we have seen recently, is also a new challenge, and not just for Ukraine, but for all of Europe. This is enough to understand that it is not only Russian and the Axis that is trying to destroy the world order, but the United States of America is actually destroying it completely.
Romanian authorities have detained 6 individuals who are accused of attempting to overthrow the state with alleged support from Russia. Among the suspects is 101-year-old former Army Major General Radu Teodoru, whose home was raided as part of this investigation. Prosecutors revealed that the group operated with a military-style structure and had contacted foreign agents in both Romania and Russia. Their alleged plans included negotiating Romania's withdrawal from NATO, dissolving the current constitutional order, and establishing a new government with changes to the national flag, anthem, and country's name. The investigation is unrelated to ongoing probes into far-right politician Călin Georgescu, who is under scrutiny for alleged Russian interference in Romania's recent presidential election. Moscow has denied any involvement and has yet to comment on the latest developments. And in the latest episode of TVP World On the Record, Poland's Minister of State Assets, Jakub Jaworowski, commented on whether or not it's feasible for Poland to export its defense industry output to other European countries. While praising the quality of Poland-produced arms, which have already been battle-tested in Ukraine, our guest emphasizes that for export purposes, sufficient manufacturing capabilities would need to be secured first.
You know how it is with generals, with all respect. They want the best toys. They don't want to settle for second best toys. So how are you going to convince the generals that what the Polish armaments group produces is good enough quality? I mean, the French buy French, the British mostly buy British, and so on and so forth.
Well, I'm not so sure if the British buy mostly British and the French buy mostly French, right? If you look at the equipment of European armies, there is quite a lot of equipment that comes out from outside Europe. But I take your general point. I think also in your material you highlighted a number of items that PGZ is producing very, very well and that have even export potential. But again, if I go back to my point, before we decide to export anything, we need to ensure that the army has enough of whatever product we are talking about, right? So again, self-propelled howitzers. This is the so to speak, a star of the Russo-Ukrainian war, right? Then the Manpad anti-aircraft rockets, the Thunderbolt, the Piorun, right? So there is a number of products which have already proven themselves on the battlefield, and the army is very keen to have more of these.
And the full episode of On the Record is now available on our YouTube channel of TVP World. I strongly recommend it. The SpaceX Starship spacecraft launched in Texas on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. local time exploded just minutes after the launch. Space debris was seen lighting up in the sky. These videos posted on X were recorded by eyewitnesses from the Bahamian archipelago and Florida. They show what is reported to be the upper stage of the Starship spacecraft. The first stage booster flew back to Earth and was intercepted on the ground. The failed flight was the 8th Starship mission and is a setback for the program that Elon Musk, who founded SpaceX in 2002, reportedly planned to accelerate this year.
It's going down.
And with this, we resume this edition of World News. Thank you so much for watching, but please stay tuned to TVP World for more news and commentary.